You're listening to episode 131 of the Master Your Mind, Business, and Life podcast. We're kicking off the month of July with a solo episode. Before I even go into this, you guys should see me right now. I'm in my closet recording. My kids are being a little bit noisy today, and I could not keep them quiet, so I surrendered and came into my walk-in closet. So yes, this episode is brought to you by my walk-in closet. Besides that, I just don't know why it even still continues to surprise me that you guys love my solo episodes. I never anticipate large download numbers when there's no guests for my Wednesday episodes, but you all are loyal listeners and I am honored. So thank you for rocking with me. If you're new to the show, I typically have guests on Wednesdays and I aim to keep my Fuel Your Life Friday episodes my solo ones. But every now and then I slip in on a Wednesday to drop a lesson I've learned that I want to share, or even some things that I'm working on that I know will help you master your mind, business, and life. While you're listening today, I'd love for you to take a screenshot and share it on social media along with your favorite part or what resonated with you. Tag me in it. I am everywhere at MindBizLife. Speaking of sharing, you never know when someone may need to hear the message within this episode or even within the podcast. Be sure to share it with a friend or family member to help us get into the homes, cars, and earbuds of many. All right, let's just go ahead and dive into this week's episode. You know what to do. Tune in, turn it up, let's go.
You're listening to Master Your Mind, Business, and Life. Conversations with everyday world shifters, truth seekers, and rule breakers. Here's your host, Lauren Smith.
Hey everyone, it's Lauren Smith. Welcome back to another episode. I know in June you were hit with a series of episodes that provided an energy update, but also a bit of an energy forecast of where we currently are in 2020, but also what energy is to be anticipated and what we have to look forward to as we navigate the rest of 2020. With all the amazing insight that our experts provided us, it really had me thinking about my own life and what I want to focus on. I'm sure many of you, like me, have been told at least at some point in your life that you need to get your priorities in order. I remember even as a child knowing that my schoolwork was a priority over most things like sports or any type of extracurriculars or even hanging out with my friends. But what I had to learn as an adult was that your priorities are consistently changing. I mean, of course, priorities shift when you go from not being in a relationship to being in one, or living with your parents to having your first apartment, or even not having kids to having kids, or not owning a pet to being a pet owner. I mean, these are big shifts in priorities. But then there are priorities within priorities. Oh my gosh, have I even said the word priorities enough yet? Okay, let me take a step back. Let's get clear on the why. Why is it important to know where your time and energy go? Well, a huge piece of that is ensuring boundaries and avoiding burnouts. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There are times that I feel burnout from the podcast. Not so much from the actual conversations. They actually light up my world. But when editing and doing the graphics and the social posts and the scheduling, I mean, those are tasks that are quick to drain my energy. When my energy is drained, I burn out quicker. And let me tell you, recovering from a total burnout once you get to that point is hard. So if we want to avoid burnouts, we need to ensure that our boundaries align with our priorities. When I was 2 feet in on my marketing business, when it was at its peak, I was having clients text me at 9 and 10 p.m. I once thought this was quote unquote part of the job, and I have my downtime interrupted by clients and always being on the go. Now I simply realize that I was lacking boundaries. One of my boundaries for the podcast is actually setting my schedule. I have one night a month where my calendar is open for calls. I'm talking about nighttime, because as a priority, my nighttime is my family time. Other than that, I try and keep my calls during the day. And when school was in session, I kept it during school time. So, I wasn't interrupted by my kids. Now, I mentioned it before, but there is a long list of things that are considered priorities, from health to relationships, family, friendships, money, career, travel, spirituality, personal growth, recreation and fun, volunteering. Heck, even some people consider shopping a priority. My first step in evaluating priorities is simply write out all of the categories in life that have a role in your life, a big role in your life. I know in the beginning this list may feel endless. That's okay, because out of that list, you're then going to choose your top 3 priorities that you want to focus on for, say, I would say the next 3 months. Some of them may be a little less than 3, some may need more than 3. I know 3 can seem limited when you're looking at all of the many things on your list, but when you find yourself stuck on choosing which priority to focus on, simply ask yourself, which areas of my life need my focus and need improvement in this moment in time? You'll then take those top 3 categories and break it down further and write out the action items that you need to focus on within those categories. Now, for me, I do this in both life and business because, well, my business isn't my life and my life isn't my business. They intertwine and they blend together like a smooth melody, but separate, they are their own beats. But for the sake of this episode, I'm just going to stick to outlining my top 3 current priorities as an example. Okay, number 1 is motherhood. Now, this will always be a priority, right? But I actually took some time off from holding any podcast conversations this summer to give my girls more of my attention. I also turned down some larger projects because I know that money is energy and that can always circulate back to me. But my kids are only this age once. They are only little ones. I only have 18 summers with them before they're adults. And in reality, with my oldest, I only have 8 summers left. This time is valuable to me, and that's where my priority is focused right now. Number 2, financial freedom. Now, I know I just said I turned down larger projects, and you may be thinking, okay, homegirl, so how can you be financially free while declining work? Well, I make choices consistently that align with what I want. So, of course, priority number 1 right now is motherhood, so I'm not taking on projects that don't take away from a lot of my time, but smaller projects are still a go. And also, financial freedom for me goes beyond my income. It's having a plan and taking action to pay off debt. It's minimizing my wants that aren't needs. It's consciously making choices that help me build the future I desire. I go over a little bit more on this on this week's upcoming Fuel Your Life Friday episode, so be sure to tune into that on Friday. Number 3. My personal growth. My personal growth is always ongoing. Some months I focus on inner work. Other months I'm nerding out on learning new spirituality tools. But what I recently have been digging deeper into are some of my wounds. I have a huge wound revolving abandonment, and it came up for me the other week, and I realized that until I work out this wound, many subconscious habits and patterns and actions will continue to play a role in self-sabotage until I work on uncovering why this energy exists within me and how I can clear it. So once I've healed, or maybe once I've healed a layer of it, I can move on to another priority. Once my kids are back into school, maybe I'll lean into a bigger project. I don't really see my financial freedom moving from my priority list anytime soon. I'm sure that will be a focus until I've reached, a certain goal. But even that could shift from maybe going from paying off debt to saving for a house. If energy goes where attention flows, then it's important to give our attention to our priorities. And when we say things like, I don't have time for that, what we're really saying is likely one of 2 things. Either that's not a priority to me, or I don't have the energy for that. Both of which are okay, but I feel it's always best to stay open and genuine about where you are in your journey and what's important to you right now. Because my friends know that my financial freedom is important to me right now, they're okay if I say no to going on lavish trips, but I am more inclined to say yes to a day at the beach with a packed lunch and some good music playing. Evaluating your priorities is an ongoing thing. Take some time this week to evaluate where you are in life, what areas of your life need more of your attention, and most importantly, get clear on the action steps that you need to take to fulfill that priority. What's a priority in your life right now? What's a goal you're working towards? If you need an accountability partner, share it with me and I'll check in on you and make sure that you're actively aligning with what you want most out of your life. I'm everywhere on social media at MindBizLife. Don't forget to join me on Friday for another episode of Fuel Your Life Friday, but until then, remember, every level of life is an opportunity to grow. Be well, my friend.